let's get started. Today's topic is one of the amazing topic, one of my favorite topic because of which I really like or love JavaScript, I should say. The name of the topic today we have is API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. You don't have to get confused like what is this application programming interface and all. But no, I'll be explaining you that part also. More than understanding application programming interface, we have to understand that it's a data that is present on the website, and we are getting the data on our page. Let's say I want to write a codes. We have seen that method. We can store the codes inside a variables, and we can also store the code inside a inside an array. Here I can store one code. Okay, let's say let me let me join. This is not a code, only the sentence, and I can store another one like this. I can store many codes, and this is the data which I'm storing. Okay, let's say I don't want to do this. I don't want to store the data inside my JavaScript itself, because anybody can go to inspect and see inside JavaScript, inside the elements inside JavaScript. People can see my scriptings, and they know what I'm storing and where the data and what's happening inside Java. I can just go to JavaScript, and I can see what's happening here. Okay, so but I don't want to do this. This is one way. Another way is the way okay, if I have to explain it in much better way, API is getting the data or storing the data into database, getting the data from the database, or modifying the data from the database. It's like a CRUD part. One is you can create the data using API, and you can uh, read the data using APIs. Yeah, and then create. You can create, read, edit, or update. We should say update, delete the data on the API. Using APIs on the server, we have front end and we have back end. Whatever we are working, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, this everything comes under front end. And the storage of the data, maintenance of the data, how to store the data, the behavior of the data, everything comes at the back end. The connection of this front end and back end is done through APIs. There are other ways also, but this is one of the ways we use, called APIs. Guys, we guys understood what is API? By APIs is just type yes if you people have understood the gist of APIs. Yes, thank you, Umesh, Aisha. This topic is really important. Just because of this topic, I literally love JavaScript. Thank you, Umesh. Thank you, Aisha. Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, the only part we will be looking at in this part of our course, in this part of JavaScript, in this course, is reading the data. Only reading the data, not to put your because once you understand the for understanding the create, update, and delete part, you have to understand the backend also a bit. For sure, I'll be launching uh, the course. Yeah, for that also, for the backend part, so that I can explain you much more clearer. But for this course, we'll be understanding read part. For this, what you got to do is just go to Google. First step, just go to Google, type free API, free APIs, or API. Just type free API. You will get some of the APIs over here. 20 free public APIs, and you can go to GitHub also. There are APIs. Let me just go to GitHub. You can see different APIs here. Animal API, Anim API, anti-malware. There are different APIs here. Okay, so see cats API. So guys, one more thing is, if you're taking any API from here, from the GitHub link, I'll share you this link also. Okay, if you're taking any API from GitHub link, I'll explain you why to take the API and all. Okay, if you're taking an API from the GitHub link, then make sure you, since we are only understanding the reading part of the APIs, only reading the data, make sure there is no authentications required. Okay, it should written no here. Let's say I want to know the facts about cats. Okay, or let's say I want to know the random quotes, that the same thing that we did last time. We were doing we are generating a quote machine. This time we will do it with a cat fact. Let's see if this API is working. What you have to do is you just have to come here, just click on this, check if if the API is working. Where is it? DNS API. Let's see. No. Okay, I think this is not working. Let me just check for some other APIs. There are n number of APIs. It means say for everything there is an API. For now, I'll just take one. Okay. Uh, Codes API itself, I'll take codes free API. Free codes API. Just click here, or just go to this one. Free code camps API. This is also amazing. Yeah. So guys, this is a link for APIs. I'll explain you this code also, but as of now, just copy this link, and if you just put it here, you know, you guys can see there are codes here. Okay, this all inside an object. Yeah, there is this all are inside an array. You guys can see here the starting point of the array, and you guys can see the end point of the array, and every quote is inside an item here. You guys can see, if I have to specify in a simple way, every quote inside a separate array. Sorry, it's a separate item. Okay, see, whenever you go to an URL and if you get this kind of data, this is nothing but an JSON data, or the data which you can put it on your web page. Okay, so if you're getting this kind of data anywhere in the link, which means this is working. This is a working API. We will do this one, or there are many other APIs also. You can see we have weather API. You make a weather application using this API. Yeah, you can make amazing weather applications. As of now, let me just take only this API that we have. Guys, I've taken this API, so what I'll do is I'll just copy this link. Yeah, first of all, find the API. Yeah, go to Google, find API. For quotes you need API, just find quote API. You'll get the APIs. So go for the websites, copy and paste these kind of links, and check if you have the data inside that API. Once you find the data, go back to your applications. Till now, everybody have understood how to find the API. Free and public API. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sajid. Yeah, just go to Google, type quotes API, you'll get the quotes API. Movie names API, just get movie names API. Bollywood movie API, you'll get Bollywood movies API. Okay, in which the data is stored. Here, see, you can see the quotes and who said that quote. Author name is also there here. Okay, I've got the data, I've got the API. So what you're going to do is just copy this one. Now I want this API, I want this data, I want to fetch this data inside my application here. Okay, so what you can do is, to the syntax to fetch this API data is very simple. What you can just type is, just type fetch Open these two brackets. Inside these two brackets, paste this link. Simple. Okay, you got to do this. Then what you can do is just type dot and then uh, type then dot then. Okay, now what I'm telling this what I'm telling to JavaScript is we will be fetching the data from this URL. Okay, and whatever the response whatever the response we get from this URL, convert that response to JSON. JSON is nothing but readable data. Okay, guys, till now everybody have understood. So what I'm telling to JavaScript is we need to fetch the data from this URL, and then whatever the response I'm getting from this URL, convert it into a JSON format. See, there is a data inside this API. Inside this API, we have this data. Data is nothing but we have this codes. I want this codes inside my application, inside my JavaScript. So how to get this data? First thing, how to fetch this data inside my application. So how I will do is, okay, I have just linked my HTML to JavaScript. So the syntax to fetch the data from API is very simple. Just type fetch, open these two brackets, open this quotation marks. Inside this quotation marks, paste this URL, paste this API link that we have. Yeah, simple thing. I'm telling JavaScript that I want to fetch the data from this URL. Everybody understood this part? Step is fetching the data here. Second step is just type dot and type then. Whatever the response you're getting, I want this response to, I'm using this arrow function, this is a function here. I want this response to be converted into res dot JSON. I want to convert this data into JSON. So first thing, I want to fetch the data from this link, and I want to convert this, whatever the response I'm getting from this one, I want to convert it into JSON format. Okay, so after this, one last step I want to do is dot then. After this, whatever the data I have taken, whatever the response I have got from here, I have converted that response into a JSON format. Now whatever the response we have got, whatever the data there inside this response, I want the data. What should happen to this data now? Okay, I'll decide here. You can write data or you can write anything that you want. I'm writing data just for the convenient. You can write your name, you can write whatever you wish to. Okay, whatever the response, we have converted this response into JSON format, and whatever the data it is there inside this response, that data, I'll just console log this. For the first time, I'll just console log this. Log data. Simple thing. Let me just check that in the log if I'm getting this data. See guys, I've got the data. So inside an array, I have the entire data. So first thing what I did is I just took the data and I converted it into I just console logged it, and I've got this. This is an array. Let's say I just want only the first item of this array. How do I do this, guys? Anybody, any idea? How do I get this only the first item of this array? This is an array here, and inside this array I have this first item and I have this second item. How do I get this first item? Any idea? Anybody? Umesh, Aisha, Sajid? Last time we did this in accessing the data from an array. First item, second item in the array. Last time we did this. Okay. Anybody typing? No. Okay. So guys, we know that I'm doing it once again. So let's say we know that. Let me just make an array. My name Shahid. Uh, jar. I'll make it car. Yeah. So let's say I want to console log only Shahid. How will I do this? Any idea, guys? Any idea how do we do that? Aisha, Umesh? No? How will I access? See, this is an array. How will I access my name and do console log? Only my name should be console log. How will I do that? Okay, simple thing, guys. I'll just do Hulk and the name of the position that item has. Like this is 0. I'll say 0. If I just do now, if I just go to my function, you guys can see my name is printed. Simple thing happens here also. See, I have an array. If I want this first item, okay, if I just want this first item, which is at the 0th position, I just have to do 0. Okay, let me just remove this. This is not required. I've just console logged this data. This entire array is printed here. This is an entire array. If you see, this is a starting point and this is an ending point. Let's say I just want 0. See, only the first code I have got, only the first element I have got. Inside that also, I just want this text or I just want this author. I can do that also. Let's say I just want text. I'll just do dot text. I'll get only this part. Yeah. If I just do console log once again, and now if I do that author, see, I got the name of the author also. If I do 1, let me do it here also 1. If I just save this, see, I got the name of the author. Guys, everybody understood this part? How did I access it? Anybody have any doubts? Any questions? So what I would do is I would just fetch. I would just so what I will do is every time same thing. The quotes generating machine we will make once again, but this time with the dynamic data. We are not adding the quotes and all from here. We are fetching the quotes from the API. Okay, this is an amazing part. This is the only thing because of which I literally love JavaScript, because of APIs. Okay, we have fetched the data and this is in the console log. So what do I do next now? So what I'll do here is I'll just create one function called as gen codes. Okay, I've just created this function, and so inside this function I'll just copy paste this function, so that I'll just copy paste this fetch method, so that whenever I call this function, this everything gets implemented. I'll create a variable called as random because I just want random numbers. Before this, I'll create a variable called as random later. Before this, I'll get the heading from there. Let heading equal to document dot query selector. Document dot query selector. I'll just select this h1. H1 I've selected. Yeah. So what I would do here is I'll just let's say random equals to, I'm just creating a random numbers math dot flow. Inside math dot flow I'll just create math dot random star data dot length. Yeah, so I've got this one. Okay, so instead of this here, so what I'll do this is I'll just call it outside So first thing I've selected this h1 and I've created the random number. So just the thing is I just have to insert and just select this heading dot inner text equal to data dot data a random number because I need to generate a random number. Let me put this here itself because the fetch is here. Put the random number here itself. Okay. Data dot random dot text. I want to insert a text here. We will put the author name also, but as of now only the code is required. So I'll just select the text. If I just save now, let's see if this is working. Data dot random is this number. Okay, I should call this function somewhere. I'll call this inside button. Button here got on click. I can do on click save. Let me just call the function now. Let's see if this works. Data is not defined. It says data is not defined. Okay. Let me just put this entire thing here itself because even this is a function, right? Let me just put here itself. Let's see if this works now because this entire thing is a function, right? This is a function. This entire thing. This is an arrow function. This is an arrow function, and this is also a function. I'm calling function inside a function. So let's see. This works out now. Yeah. See, this is working out. If I'm clicking here, I'm getting new data. See guys, only this much of code. We are not copying the codes from there. We are not pasting here. We are just fetching the data from an API. And every time someone putting the data from backend into this API, we are automatically accessing here. Yeah, automatically it is updated. So this is one way we can do. Yeah.
One doubt.
Yes.
Can you explain me that let random line, eighth line of the code, math dot
Yeah,
row?
sure. I'll explain to you this math random. Let me just remove the random element. Let me just explain to you here. Let's say I want to generate a random number. See, if I have this data equal to 1, which means I'm getting the, if I have this the data equal to 1, I'm getting the code that is at the first position, and this is at the first position. You can observe. See, you can observe this is the position I'm getting. If I'm putting here 4, if I'm calling the function, whichever they are at the fourth position, I'm getting that one. Fate is yours. Say, see, this is at the fourth position. Fate is yours. If I'm getting a 0th position, I'll get this one. So I don't want every time I don't want to come into function. I don't want to put the number here. Okay, 1, 2, 3 like that. So that is why we have something called as we have an inbuilt method called as random. I can do it directly here itself. There is something called as math.random. Okay, let me just show it to you. I'll just create a variable and put that entire thing inside this one. You can put whatever the name you want. Let's say I'll put my name. I'll do math dot random. Okay, so math dot random just to create a numbers. Let's say I want a variable. I want to create a random number from 0 to 10. I just have to multiply this random number into 10. Okay, so let me just log this out. Log Shahid. See, so every time I refresh this, I got a number. I got 1 here, 1.7.2. So I got some random number here. If I just refresh, I got 6 now. So every time I refresh, I keep getting numbers from 0 to 10. I keep getting the numbers. Okay, this much part everybody understood. Math dot random multiplied by 10. Just type yes if you have understood. Okay, thank you. So, see guys, this data is predictable. Okay, if it is 4, I can predict 4. Last time also we did this during the number guessing game. Also we did this. Okay, but I cannot predict this 0.1 because there is nothing like this is at the first position. This is at the this is at the 0th position, and this is at the first position. There is nothing between here. Okay, and this is at the second position. There is no point 5. It doesn't make sense. So to convert this into a whole number, what I can do is we have one more method called as math dot floor. Okay, if I put this entire thing inside this math dot floor, it will be converted into a whole number, which means the zero and all will, after point whatever there, that will be gone. If I just save this now, see, I got 6. There is no point data here. Just refresh. I got 5. I got 6. Okay, let me know if you people have understood this thing. After this, I'll explain you one more. This much clearer? Okay, clear. Super. So what I'm doing here is same thing. I'll just copy paste this here. Okay, same thing. I'll copy paste this here. See, I have to I want to know how many random numbers I want to generate, and that is equal to the length of this array. Let's say there are 7 items in the array. I want to multiply this random number into 7 because I want to generate a 7 random number. 0 to 7 I want to generate a random numbers. Okay, the number of items in the array, the number of random numbers I want. This is clear, huh? Aisha, Umesh, this is clear. The number of items in the array, the number of random numbers I want. No, this is not clear. Just type n if you are not clear with this. Clear, huh? Okay. Okay, not an issue. Okay, so the number of items are the number of items there in the array, that much the number I need here. So instead of doing this, what I can do is I'm getting the same data from here, right? Let's say let r equals to, if I just put array and just type, I'm just putting random numbers. Okay, so this is a random number. So I want 3. No, I want to multiply this with a 3. I should do it 3 here. If not, I can do this also, like array. If I just do console log, I can do this also, array dot length. If I do this also, I'll get the same value. If you just see here, see, I got the same value because 3 items in the array. If I just do array dot length, I get this value. Okay, this part understood. Array dot length, just to find out the length, we use this. Okay, so so what we can do here is, somebody left. I think Aisha, there is some network issue with her. Okay, so what we can do here is, instead of counting the elements there inside an array here, 1 2 3, instead of counting that one, what I can do here is, I know that entire thing that is there in this one is stored inside this data. That is there in the data is nothing but the name of the array that we have given here. This entire array is there inside the data. That is why if I'm doing console log, I'm getting the entire data. If I just save this, if I just show it to you, just a minute. Okay, so this is not defined. That is why I'm not getting option. So let me just make it. Yeah. So if I'm just console logging this data, you guys should see I would get the Since I've not called the function, it's not working. Let's call the function. See, I would get the entire data here. Okay, this is also, this is in the form of array. You can see array starting point here, array ending point here. So instead, so what I can do here is data dot length, simple. So the random numbers multiplied by the length of the array. So instead of putting here numbers again and again, coming and putting here numbers, so what I can do here is I've selected this heading. So inside this heading, inner text equal to data random dot text. Whenever I call this function, there is an error. I got to promise you random is not defined. Oh, okay, this random is not defined because I've given the name of Shahid. So this see. Yes, see, I'm getting the data every time every time I'm clicking the function. I'm getting this data. Guys, let me know if you people have understood this part. Any doubts, any questions? If you're clear, just type C. Okay, thank you, uh, Sajid. Umesh, you're clear? Let me know if you need any help. If you understand this thing. The fetch syntax is literally amazing. Okay, no problem. Thank you. The fetch syntax is literally amazing and you can do lots of stuff. See, I've created, I got this one. So guys, what you guys do is do the same thing. Yeah, do the same thing. This time what you do is I'll give you this link. I'll give you this link in the WhatsApp, not in the WhatsApp. I'll give you this link here in the chat box. Do the same thing, but also print the author name also. Just write one of the paragraph also here. Whenever you click here, you should get this quote, and you should also get the author name also. Can we do this, guys? Yeah, just try this. You don't have, for getting the author name, you don't have to do fetch again. I got this data and I got this dot text. If you see here, dot text means I'm getting this one. So once again, you can put this data, copy paste. That should be inner, whatever you do paragraph, and you can put author, the name of the author here, and you will get the output. Just try this. If you're not getting output, let me know. I'll just share you this API link in chat box. Guys, try doing this. Let me know if you're not getting output or if you need any help. I would definitely help you. Yeah. There are APIs for others also. Let's say I have one of the random API, random user API. Every time I click, I generate the random users details. See, I have this guy's location, I have this guy's date of birth, random user data I'm getting here, date of birth, number, everything I'm getting here. The same thing even you can do if you get this API for free. Okay. Oh, amazing. Okay, so yeah, guys, just do this. Then I'll give you the API for this user API also. So every time you click on the button, you should get a different user. And this is much more simpler. You don't have to do a random and all. This is a simple task for you people. So what you guys should do is, okay, in this API, if you can see here, there is an image also. We have an image URL also. Okay, inside thumbnail, you guys can see here there is an image URL also. So try generating a random user, yeah, and putting it. Try fetching the data. Try fetching these details. Only name is enough. Okay, fetch out the name, first name and the last name, and display that one. And try displaying the number and the email ID and the image. These three things. This no, four things are more than first name, last name, number, email ID, and the image. Can we do this, guys? I'll send you this API. So this would be our last project that we will be doing, but not now. Yeah, take your time. Do it till Wednesday. Till Wednesday, you have time. Sajid, if you can just share me, if you can just copy this link from here and share it to me on the WhatsApp also, I'll share it in the group also. That would be great. Yeah. Yes, guys, try doing this one. This is literally amazing part of today's thing, I should say. Okay, you will really enjoy doing this if you're stuck somewhere, while fetching the data or doing making this random user API. Because if you just understand this API fetch thing, this and all, only reading the data, if you just understand, you are, I should say, you are really good at front end web development, because just with this much of code, you're creating seriously lots of stuffs. Okay, and you know to put up the data, you know to organize the data, if you just know to read the data from which.
And can you write a note like what all need to fetch from that API?
Sure, I'll write it here. So what you guys would do is, I'll share you this API link. So what you guys would do is fetch the name of the person. Name includes both first and last name. Okay, number, fetch out their telephone number. You have the number also here. Okay, you have this number, just fetch out this number. Okay, you have the location, pin code, and all. No need this. Other things also. If you want, you can do it. But for me, for the project, first name, last name, number, email, and image. Yes. So this would be your last project, guys. Try doing this thing.